Yo, what's good everybody? My name is Jay Fatty. Welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking more about sampling techniques, mainly focused on sampling in Fruity Slicer today. So let's get right into it. This is the song that we're going to be sampling by Panther called Takes Time. So I put it in FL Studio and I pitched it down 300 cents. Where essentially the first process is going to be similar to what we did in the last video where we were sampling in the playlist, because we're going to use the playlist to get our chops or our main loops, and then we're going to chop it up in Fruity Slicer, because it's very important to get your loops on BPM and know what BPM you got to be. So we need to use the playlist and Fruity Slicer in this video. So if you haven't checked out my last video, you can check it out with the link in the top right. So I already know what loops I want to get out of here. One starts around here. And once again, I have it pitched down 300 cents, hopefully to avoid copyright issues. And then there's some another loop that I want over here. So I'm just going to get these loops real quick. So I'm going to go to the magnet up here, go to none, press C on the keyboard, hold shift and left click right on this transient right here. This is the start of the loop. I don't need this beginning stuff. I'm just going to drag this out to the front and let's find where the loop ends. It ends right about here. I'm going to cut it a little bit after, give some room for error. Once again, you should check out that last video. We really go in depth on sampling in the playlist. All right, so now I'm going to mute this part and get this loop just right. We got our first loop. Now I'm going to get the second loop. All right, so we got our two loops here. I'm going to make them both unique as sample, holding shift. Right click at the top left there, click make unique as sample, holding shift the whole time. That way it skips the file browser process. Now we're going to stretch these out to a BPM. So let's just bring it to like 88. Let's try 88 and stretch these out 8 bars. A little bit faster. So as long as these are on stretch, they should stretch to BPM with us. So let's go a little bit faster. Let's go to like 115. Okay, 100 is actually a good BPM here. Let's hear how this other one sounds. Now that we have our loops here, let's throw it in Fruity Slicer and get our chops. So I have this main loop, which is just that first one we got. I'm going to click on it right here in the channel rack and then click and drag on this waveform over Fruity Slicer. So now it's in Fruity Slicer, and this is why we wanted to know the BPM. We wanted to have it on BPM so we can click on this slicing tool and do beat. That's going to take that whole loop and slice it in beats for us automatically. We can bring the attack and decay up a little bit to mitigate any clicks and pops. Now if we hit some keys on our mini keyboard, it should automatically be routed. Now it is velocity sensitive and it's pretty quiet. So let's actually go into this gear here, go over to the wrench and bring the volume up right here. Now you can play something by messing with your actual keys here, or we can go into the piano roll and put stuff in. See, it automatically routes the whole sample into the piano roll. If you see it like that, we'll just do a Control A and delete that. Let's just kind of find a pattern here. Say you want to reverse one of these chops, you can do that. This beat 7, I actually want to see how that sounds reversed. So we got to find the 7th chop. We can just count up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This should be it. We can click on it right here. That's it, definitely. If we click this reverse button, now it should be reversed. So let's hear how that sounds. So we'll just call this main chops. What we could also do is mess with the pitch shift or the time shift here. If we listen to the pitch shift, we could just change it in Sense. I already did that earlier, so I'll probably keep it where it's at. If we mess with the time shift, this can get some interesting vibes. When you go down, it goes a bit faster in time, and up it goes a bit slower, or more slower depending on how far up or down you go. More slower, more faster. That already gives you some dope vibes, but we'll actually just keep these where they're at. So now that we got these main chops here, what we can actually do is put that pattern in the playlist and consolidate it by right-clicking it, consolidate track from track start, and hit start. And now we have our main chops, we'll call it. And now let's get the other chops. Throw in another Fruity Slicer. Click on the other loop and just drag that waveform over the Fruity Slicer. Let's actually cut it out of there and put it on a different pattern, just like so. So we're gonna do the same thing. Click on the slicer here, go to beat, and I'm gonna bring the attack and decay up a little bit, try to mitigate some of those clicks and pops. It's not the best. So we ended up getting some chops here for this part. What we can actually do is do an Alt-R to randomize the velocities a little bit. Alright, so once again, we can right click, consolidate from track start, get this in its own audio clip. There, now we have some chops from Fruity Slicer. It is not the best thing that FL Studio has to chop up samples, but it is good in its own right. So we're going to end up making a beat now. I'm going to normalize both of these. So actually, I realized I got the other chops. They're kind of messed up in the arrangement here. It actually should start right here on the loop. What we're going to do is just slice right there. And I'm going to take this chop out, bring it to the front like that, and then just put this in the back. For drums, especially hi-hats, you could get two of them and put one towards the left a little bit, pan it towards the left, and then pan one towards the right. Makes the hi-hat get that sauce and just sound a bit better in the ears. Have two of them going at the same time. You want to make sure the volume's in check, so keep that in mind. Part here could just be a break. Pretty dope. And I can double click the audio clip and do generic bleeding, and that will hopefully mitigate any clicks and pops even more. That's pretty much it for sampling and Fruity Slicer. If this video brought you value, please leave a like, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell. I appreciate it, yo. Make sure you stay safe, stay striving, and always be getting it. Until next time, everybody, much love, y'all. Peace.